All right, welcome everybody to the stream. So today we are going to be continuing our journey as no nonsense forex traders, and to hopefully get funded as prop firm traders as well. So we're going to be looking at the trades that we placed last week as well as yesterday. Take a look and see if we need to close them, and we will be continuing our trading and seeing if we're going to be looking at our charts and opening up some more trades today. So looks like we had a fairly good week. We started trading Thursday, the GBP JPY. One of the trades exited at take profit level. The other one is continuing to run with the trailing stop. Yesterday we played the CAD JPY trade as well. And it looks like here we are also in a small profit, and we're looking to close in our take profit soon. I do know that there's a news event coming up on Friday with this pair, so we're going to be exiting out in the next couple of days here if take profit level doesn't get hit anyway. So what we can do now is look at our charts and look at our exit indicators to see if they've told us to exit the trades, which we will be bringing up on a separate MT4 platform. So let's just take a look here. All right, so here we have our MT4, and we are using these indicators here. So to recap, we are using the Gamma, the Damiani, Vortex, Copic Curve, as well as the Rex Oscillator. So we're going to be going to our Rex Oscillator to take a look and see if we want to exit. So we already have GBP JPY here. So it looks like our Rex isn't quite crossing over yet, so we are not going to be exiting this trade. And then we had the CAD JPY, and looks like we have not gotten the signal to exit there. So we're going to be leaving our trades open, and then also, yeah, it looks like we have some major news events on CAD pairs coming up on Friday, and so we'll be able to exit most likely on Thursday as well. So we have about 20 minutes or so till the daily chart or the daily candle actually closes, so we can take a look and see if we're going to be placing any trades before the candle closes. So first we bring our MT4 charts here, start on the first pair and work our way over. So it looks like we have some major news events for USD and Euro pairs, so we're not going to be trading either of those. I don't trade pairs 2 days before that have high impact news events coming up. So we can just kind of scroll through the USD pairs, and all of them will have the news events coming up. Euro pairs, CAD JPY, which we're already in. And now we have GBP JPY, or sorry, GBP Chief. So let's take a look here. So it looks like Vortex C1 is not giving us the entry signal, so we're going to be moving on from there. We're already in the GBP JPY trade. Euro CAD, so we had another Euro pair. CAD Chief. Okay, so here we don't have a news event coming up till Friday, but we aren't getting the confirmation for our C1 or Vortex indicator, so this is not going to be a trade, so we can just keep going. GBP CAD, we're not getting the signal there. Euro, this is a high impact news event. Looks like there's a high impact news events for odd pairs as well today, so we're not going to be trading odd pairs either. So we can just kind of scroll through quickly all the odd pairs. Euro pairs. Okay, so New Zealand JPY, we are not going to be trading either because we're not getting the C1 from the Vortex. New Zealand USD, GBP odd, New Zealand Chief, okay. So C1 is not giving us the signal, so we're going to keep going. C1 Vortex, New Zealand CAD, Yep, and that's about it. Odd USD, this is just going to be one of my sort of testing pairs there to try out new indicators. I was looking at the universal price oscillator, and yeah, that would be the end of that. So it looks like we're not going to be placing any trades today. We are going to be leaving the other trades open, but what we can do now is just continue back testing as well. So yesterday I was back testing on New Zealand CAD. That was a pair that I was doing the back testing on. So today we can pick another pair as well and just continue the back testing. So for back testing, I take 3 years of data. So starting off in January 2019 and going out till the end of 2021. So that would be 3 years of data. And so we can just take a look and see on another pair. We'll just start off with a pair like Euro USD, and then take a look and see what we're going to be going with. I think let's just bring up the pair here. So yeah, so we had New Zealand CAD, and we had a 3 win, 2 loss, so that's about 60%, 5 trades over 3 years. That's pretty standard when we have the daily chart up. You're not going to have a lot of pairs trading, especially if you have a slower system. So let's go back here and bring up our Euro USD, and we'll just take a look and see if we're going to do some back testing here. So we're going to go back all the way 3 years, and I don't want this to scroll at the end of that, so let's just leave that there. Alright, so we're in 2019, so we just start from the beginning of 2019, which is January 1st, is right around here. Alright, there you go. Okay, so we have January 1st on here, so what we can take a look at now and see is if we are going to be placing trades, and if we are, if that's going to be a win or a loss. So here I automatically backtest each indicator separately, and I code that on TradingView just to see what the win rate of that indicator would be, given the same risk management and the same date range as my other indicators. And then when I'm ready to test out the entire system, I'll test out the system manually. So here we're going to start and take a look at when we're getting the signal to go. So here we have Damiani giving us the red bar, which tells us that we're not going to trade here anytime we see this red bar. And that's a good thing because we avoided this sort of choppy range here. We would have gotten a couple of signals, may have ended in small profits, but we were kept out by this volume indicator here. So let's move on here and see what we've got going on. So it looks like right here we had a move up. This would not have been a trade. This here also would not have been a trade because of our C2, our copy curve indicator. Copy curve is a zero line cross, and this is below, this is a negative value here. So that is going to be preventing us from entering the trade. If we want to go long, we need to see a positive value on the copy curve. So let's take a look at the next one here. So next one, we're getting the signal right here. One candle rule would push it there. Copy curve again is keeping us out because it's at a positive value now, and if we're going to go short on a trade, we need to have a negative value on the copy curve. So let's take a look and see. Here is the next one here. So this one is giving us a signal to go long because the blue line is crossing over the red line for the vortex, but because the copy curve is still negative, that's not going to be a trade. And yeah, it looks like copy curve is keeping us out of this trade as well. This would have been a short trade. about 70-ish pips, so could have potentially reached profit, but depending on what the ATR was. So let's take a look at this one here. Long entry, denied by Coppic curve. This is a short entry that's denied by the baseline because price is above the baseline, so we're not going to enter there. Looks like Vortex is crossing over here. So this would have been denied by the baseline. And then it looks like this one here is going short, but would have been denied by the volume indicator. And this long entry as well would have been denied by the volume indicator as well. It doesn't quite cross here. If you can't really tell if one line crosses the other, you can just take a closer look in and see which line is above the other line. And then you can tell if that was crossed over or not. So let's take a look here. We have a short signal right here. So that would have been at this candle here. Because the candle is outside of the ATR bands, we're not going to be placing the trade. Long entry here, denied by the Coppic curve. And we had a short entry signal here. Okay, so let's take a look here. That would have been here, which would have been outside of the ATR bands. Yeah, because right here you can tell that the vortex didn't really cross over quite yet. So we look at the next candle and then the one candle rule. So we look at these two candles and we see that they're both closing outside of the ATR band. And so that would not have been a short position. About 100 pips. Okay, so we keep moving on. Okay, so it looks like here there's a little bit of choppiness, and volume indicator does a good job to keep us out of that. Would have missed the run up, but that's okay. Again, a lot of chop right here, volume indicator keeping us out. This would have been a long entry here. Right about there. Ooh, that's close. It looks like right here would have been a signal to go long. Coppic curve agrees. So let's take a look. About 90 pips. And then it would have crossed over the baseline to about 25 pips. So this would have ended in a small win. And we're already at December 4, 2019. So literally in 1 year, that is one trade. I'm just going to quickly record that on my Google Sheets. All right, and we can keep going. All right, so this is a short signal here. Looks like price is within ATR bands. Looks like ATR bands are pretty small, so that means the ATR values are small as well. Coppic curve is agreeing with us. Volume indicator is giving us the go ahead. So let's take a look. This most likely would have been closed out right here because it's crossing over our baseline. So right about 50 pips. This would have finished in a very small win. So that would be 2 wins there. All right, and let's take a look. Are we going to get a long signal here and catch this one? So we would have entered right at this candle here. Copy curve is giving us the signal just barely. So we would have ended right about, started the trade right about here and ended the trade right there, about 140 pips. So this would have been another medium-sized win. So we've got 3 going over here. And let's take a look. Yeah, and the ATR bands are going kind of crazy here because of the big move up. And so that's why the ATR bands are so wide at this point. This would have been a short signal there. Oh, sorry about that. So this actually wouldn't have been a trade because price is well outside the ATR bands. So that actually wouldn't have been a trade. So we're still at 2 wins. I did not see that. So because the price was outside of ATR bands, we're actually not counting this as a winning trade. Just like over here, because price is outside of the ATR bands, we're not actually counting this as a losing trade, which it would have been if we would have entered right out here. So this would end up in a trade, and this would end up in a trade here. So we can just keep going. This right here is just a trade, but copy curve is denying us entry. So we might move on there. Copy curve is below 0, so that's why we're not entering there. Looks like we have a lot of ranging markets here, which is preventing us from entering. So we would have had a long position, long trade there, or long entry there, short entry here, long, short, long. So we kept out of all that, but we also would have missed this move up top here as well. A little bit more chop here. And this is all just ranging markets. How long is this period? Let's take a look. From August 17th to November 4th. That's more than 2 months of chop right there. So let's keep going here and see what we've got going on. Okay, so it looks like this is a little bit more choppy market. There's a slight crossover here. So it looks like this would have been a short signal denied by baseline. And then this would have been a long signal here. Right there. So Vortex is giving us the long signal. Copy curve agrees. So we can go and place the trade right here. And it's within our ATR bands as well. And this would have been a break-even trade. About, yeah, 10 or so pips before price comes off the baseline. So this would have been a very, very small win. But we keep going. Okay, it looks like this is a short entry here. Which is denied because it's right outside the ATR bands, so we're not going to be trading here. Long entry gets denied by volume indicator. Short entry gets denied by volume indicator. Let's keep going. Okay, long entry gets denied by volume indicator there. And we have short entry, long entry, one more short entry here, but this would have been denied by the baseline because it's outside the ATR bands. So we can keep pushing over. Another large ranging markets, so we're not going to be placing any trades. Let's look at how many trades we would have placed. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. 9 trades. Let's take a look at this trade here. So here we would have gotten the entry signal here based off the one candle rule. It's giving us go ahead. Copy curve is saying yes. And we would have had a small win of about 50 pips there. So that would have been 4. Up to 4 wins now. Alright, so it looks like this would have been a long entry here. Price isn't quite above baseline, so this is going to not be a trade. Going short right there. Price closes just above baseline here. Copy curve doesn't agree, so this wouldn't have been a trade. 2, 3. Price is saying to go long. Copy curve says no. Price is saying to go short. Price is outside of ATR band, so that wouldn't have been a short trade either. That would have been a nice run to catch, but it's outside of the ATR band, so we wouldn't have placed a trade. And then this is all just ranging markets here. And it looks like we're at 2022. So yeah, this is all chop that would have been avoided by the Damiani volume indicator. And so we ended the testing with 4 wins, 0 losses. The wins themselves were really small though. Most of them were exited from baseline just after about right around 40 or 50 pips. So most of them were small wins, but nonetheless, it would have been a good trading period for that. We didn't get any major trends, but that's okay. The volume indicator and the copy curve ended up pushing us out of, or keeping us out of the losing trades in the choppy markets. So yeah, I think that is all for today then. We're going to be coming back tomorrow and taking a look and seeing if we're going to be placing any more trades, exiting out of the original ones, and continuing our journey on Ultra Capital. All right, thank you guys for watching, and yeah, have a good night.